going to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Hi there, folks. I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. Sorry about starting off with a commercial, but during the opening credits, I suddenly realized that I needed to make an emergency run down the hallway. Okay, it, sometimes these things happen in their own time. And with me tonight, we got Cap and we are coming off of a spectacular stupid o'clock.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was. You know, um,
My cat spooking Joe Dog.
hey, John was right. If Joe's cat had run off screen and your cat had run on screen from the same direction,
That would have been just
I
glorious.
mean, Joe,
Teleporting cats.
Joe is just punch drunk enough after being at the convention and having to wrestle his dogs off of that poor raccoon.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
he would have been. Oh, well, I don't think we're going to have very many commenters tonight, so we just have to amuse ourselves.
we've already proven on several occasions we can do that.
Yes. Uh,
Yeah, we have definitely proven that. We can get into some very interesting rabbit holes and then laugh our asses off at them.
I've been going down some interesting rabbit holes with different archaeology videos and things like that. I've discovered there's this fascinating lady from the Netherlands that's trying to debunk a lot of the "oh, it was aliens" sort of pseudo archaeology stuff. And she's just sitting there very calmly talking about this, that, and the other thing, and this test is this, and this test is that, and um,
Let me test something really quick. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to put that light on, turn this one off.
okay.
Hold on. There we go. Not so bright on the people looking at this if they're, sitting there with a phone or something. Of course,
Yeah,
I got an alien world on one side of my head and a sun on the other side of my head. There we go.
I,
So now we
I
got
can't.
humor
I
in it
can't
too.
do that because all the brightness that's coming through in mine is from the monitor. All the white space around the actual
Are you
screen.
just how close and how many monitors do you like? This is actually there's still a foot between my webcam and my hand. So
Let's see. My webcam is about wrist length from my
yeah,
hand.
so see,
My
I'm actually
Yeah.
sitting further back from mine. So, but I have 42-inch screens as my displays. I got 42, 42, 36, and 27. I
I've
have
only
I have
got
four displays.
the one, but it's wraparound. So
Oh, you got one of them big ultra wide curved screens?
yeah, I do. Um,
Let me borrow some of your money. Shit.
hey, Sears was having a sale.
Yeah, but
Uh,
them them ultra wides are not that old, especially
no,
wraparound.
this one, it's about, I want to say 32, 34 inches wide and curved. It's not
Oh, so you're
that
talking about one of the
huge.
first. Oh, so it's not the ultra wides. Okay.
No, and it's brand new, so I haven't managed to ruin it yet. Um, Give me time. I'm working on it. Uh, but it took me forever. Hey, Mike
Morning,
Jimmy,
Mike.
good to see you. And Mike Jimmy may actually have the link uh, soon as he's able to diaper the baby and get his coffee. He might join us. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
oh, he
You
will
caught it.
come in.
You caught it. Look
Hey,
at that.
do you know how many grandchildren I've got?
That's the
Uh,
part I'm not ready for yet. Oh, thank the Lord. My daughter's only 13, about to be 14.
oh, yeah, right. So you still got to go through the no, you cannot have the keys to the car argument. I raised you. I
I
know what you're like. Uh,
I will be honest. I have done that already at one point, but it was just in production. Push this pedal to move, push this pedal to stop. We're going to do gentle left, gentle right, some backing up. And that was it. She was 12. But it was also done on private property, unlike some people who I have recently seen on social media took a 7-year-old of all ages in her Nissan in a public parking lot with no seatbelt on, sitting in a child booster seat driving a car.
That is
While
a
the mother
little.
well, the mother's sitting there filming it and then publicly posted on Facebook.
I will give my parents credit. When I was that age, it was a tractor going down the road, and I could stand up. Yeah, I have complaints.
I have compl-
We will be glad to listen to them, Mike Jimmy. We will be glad to listen to them.
Yeah, there we go. Look, we're entertaining ourselves already. Thank you, Mike
Hey,
Jimmy.
no, when it came time for me to go take a test for my learner's permit, I'd already been driving a dump truck for 2 years on the farm
Oh yeah,
because
like
that's legal around here.
yeah, like
Um,
you look at the way society interacts with things today versus the way society reacted and interacted with things then. I fired my first gun at 6 years old. I drove my first vehicle at 10 years old. The difference is we didn't have video cameras the size of our palms. We didn't have vehicles with self autonomy, self braking, collision control, and all that shit. But we also had parents who had common enough sense. You do that in your own backyard on your property, not in the middle of the Target parking lot.
yeah, I had been driving tractors, the big farm truck. Sometimes I had to take the combine to some place where my dad was going to be after work, and he would show up in the pickup truck, and I'd have to take the pickup truck back to the farm to get the dump truck because he'd be ready to start loading that thing up by the time I got back because
Hmm
we rented
I was
rented property all over to farm on, and
by 8. I was pulling the lawnmower string.
yeah, that was one of my
You,
jobs.
you want a core memory here, Dan? My father used to have one of the old big wheel Briggs and Stratton,
Oh,
and big old 30-inch mower decks that had the big rubber wheels on the rear and the little tiny wheels in the front. The big wheels, Briggs and Strattons, they called them.
the lawnmower dragster.
Yeah, it looked like a dragster, but it was little bicycle wheels though. But never a day in his life did he ever change the oil in that thing. From the day he got it to 27 years later, where it was burned up in a fire by accident, never changed the oil. Of course, that was tantamount to the quality of a Briggs and Stratton engine of that era.
Hmm.
You could run them things damn near bone dry; it would not seize up.
You know, I got to driver's ed class in high school. Had to take that. Had to maintain a certain GPA, both of which cut a certain percentage off of the insurance when it was time for me to actually get my driver's license.
Now, I didn't have that with grades, but I still did driver's ed
No, no,
and so many
it was
hours and
a good student discount plus the driver's ed discount. State Farm gave us, I think, a total of 6% off of the regular insurance premium without raising it any because I got a teenager in the car now. Um, so yeah, that was okay. I mean, I had to make good grades anyway. My parents were pretty strict about that. I didn't get a lot of goof off time. Um, of course, in high school, it was kind of like, well, let's just say I tended to irritate upperclassmen that didn't open the book and read by actually passing the tests with no problem. So I screwed up the grading curve enormously, and I was a little guy, so I got thumped a bit,
Yeah.
but they got whooped. Their parents took them out to the woodshed, and I knew if I didn't make good grades, I was woodshed trotting myself. Uh, now, and my parents knew the value of a good education. Um, Dad was a machinist at Oak Ridge. Mom was an artist and then became a computer operator and part-time teller at a savings and loan. I mean, good grief. Uh, you you can't do that without having what amounts to nowadays an exceptional education. And in the Knoxville area, you got an exceptional education whether you wanted one or not. I mean, that was the way the schools were. They were trying to train up kids to be able to apply for jobs at Oak Ridge. This is not something they wanted subpar people for. Uh,
I guess I was wrong. Remember the Kalashnikov bike?
yeah,
I shared it to my timeline. The person I was thinking about is another person has already responded. Oh, there's a few cool items in their catalog. I wish I could just click add to basket, and then it would show up on my doorstep a week later. Now that's another person. I was neutral on him being positive or negative, but the first guy I was talking about, a Finnish army tank commander, yeah, he's definitely one of them. Get that EV shit out of here.
if it's electric, I don't want it. Yeah,
You're right.
uh, he'd
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
absolutely
off.
he'd absolutely hate some of the new canal boats that are being made over in England. I mean, they are total
Mm.
electric. They've got more solar panels than like 5 houses. Um,
Going down that route, there is one, and I mean absolutely one boat I will accept, and that was Edison's boat down there in Fort Myers, Florida, at the Edison Museum. That you can go up and down the North Fort Myers River. It is battery powered by I wouldn't say original because obviously they've redone the battery. The boat itself is original, but it's still they still try to use the traditional. Um, I forgot what battery it was that Edison created. Help me out here, Dan.
it would have been a DC system,
Yeah, it's
but
batteries, obviously. What was the battery type that Edison created? Not the SLAs. That was later on. But it
if
was
it
it was
wasn't
some
if it wasn't a lead acid, I don't know.
alkaline.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
So they actually get alkaline batteries made, big 24-volt alkaline batteries
yeah.
made for this boat. It's the only thing. The props, the drive shafts, the motors, and the batteries are the only thing not original on this boat. But the entire hull and everything where you sit is the original watercraft. Yeah, he said alkaline. He said, "Oh yeah, I was correct." I had to go Google it real quick.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Yeah, with all that stuff, driver's ed and good student and all this other, uh, actually it was taking the pickup truck out in the middle of a field when we'd baled hay and having Dad walk alongside the truck and throw 100-pound hay bales in, and my sister and my brother in the back stacking them up, and me driving the pickup truck that got me to where, hey, I had skills.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to teach my sister, she popped that damn clutch every time. Just took her foot off the pedal instead of eased it up. Uh, she definitely built for automatic transmissions. Uh, oh, good grief! Yeah, and I learned how to split shift transaxle in one of the big old farm truck, the 18-foot bed dump truck. Um, hell, I learned how to speed shift a Ford tractor, which ain't supposed to be synchron mesh. But you run over enough bumblebee nests in the middle of a field that hadn't been plowed,
Yellow jackets. Yellow jackets. Yeah.
you will learn how to shift gears really quickly. And I don't care if the tractor will only do 20 miles an hour. You will be doing absolute max and whacking the fender as if it was a horse trying to get it to go faster, like it was a Pony Express horse. I mean,
I
seriously.
will. I will admit, though, also growing up for me was Peachtree City. So,
Oh,
and this was before what I mean. Even by the time I graduated, they still hadn't implemented this yet. Golf carts.
oh yeah.
So, according to the laws then in the 90s, you just had to be 12 with a parent, 15 without a parent. But there was no ID requirement. There's no license plate, no ID number. There was no requirements. You literally just either got on your bike and went around town, or you got on the golf cart and created all sorts of mischief hell with other people. Yes, I've done a few things that wasn't my best moments, but anyway. Um,
Statute of limitations is still not expired. Keep quiet.
um, so yeah, that was also another way for us to learn how to drive as kids in Peachtree City. Was we could spend all weekend yanking around. If
Cat
you
got
don't
the
stop,
zoomies.
that's how we learned a lot too. Was I mean, because you had a brake pedal, you had a parking brake, you had the accelerator, you had the reverse forward of the motors, and then of course you also had some of the gas ones. Gas ones were always faster, but yeah, I mean, on the weekends, that's all we did. I'd golf cart around town, get into a little bit of trouble. Who cares? Then the real trouble you got into was if you got stranded somewhere. You just had to leave the
Yeah.
damn thing. You just had to leave it. There was nothing you could do. Unless you had a gas one, you could maybe bum somebody for a couple of gallons of gas. And if you just happen to carry some two-cycle in the golf cart too. But for the electric ones, yeah, you were screwed. And then
You
you
run
had
the
to
battery
walk
down,
home.
it ain't going anywhere for a
There's
long
no
time.
cell phones, or you had to find somebody that knew you or knew who you were or
Hmm.
your family, and be like, "Yeah, I'm Andrew. I'm Mister, Mikoski's son. Oh, do you need a ride home? Yeah, please. And could you stay behind after you drop me off to make sure I'm okay for about a good 10, 20 minutes?" We've had that happen a few times where me and my brother would get stranded, and then we get dropped off by somebody that my parents just happened to know. Where's the golf
What
cart?
did you do?
It was more like, where's the golf cart? It's over there behind Kedron. It's behind Kedron. Get upstairs and get out of my face. Because then now mom or dad has to call. What we had was two guys that ran around town, and they had this little mini tow truck. Like, this guy actually cut the bed of a full rollback. He cut the bed in half and put it on a smaller regular pickup truck, and just had a regular ramp that would slide it back a little bit, bring it back up, and it would fit a golf cart on it. You had to call that guy, and then you tell him about where it is, a description of it, and he would go find it. Because apparently he applied to Peachtree City to be the only vehicle other than police, city hall, or responders to legally drive down a golf cart path with a regular vehicle. That he could go down there, he'd scoop your golf cart up, bring it back to your house. Now, in terms of me, when I said Kedron Village, mind you, to get to Kedron Village by golf cart took you at least half an hour. You're talking all the way across Peachtree City. And then it died. And there was diddly squat you could do because most of the golf cart paths weren't actually in the Kedron Village neighborhood. They were on the lake behind the neighborhood, and the lake was all downhill from the actual Kedron Village. So, yeah. Mm.
Oh, I would have grounded your ass so many times.
Grounding wasn't even a thing for my father. He just whooped my ass. That's your grounding right there.
Well, back in the
And
day,
it wasn't
back,
switches. It wasn't hand. It was either that belt he had or, God forbid, he was in the right mood. And out came that damn frat paddle of his. Big old 3.5 foot long, 3/4 inch maple wood. And he actually put holes in it so he could get that thing around.
lessen
You
the air
were
resistance.
you were straight up medieval beating with my daddy. There wasn't nothing about it. Then of course there was a day he caught me trying to start smoking. He about killed me literally.
Well, yeah, I can understand that.
I mean, he took his Beretta, stuck it in my face. I said, "I ever catch you again, I brought you into this world. I will take you out of it." I think I
You
told you
made
that
sure
story.
you made sure you never got caught again, didn't you?
No, I quit. I was like, that was when I was 19, and I have not touched a cigarette. I can be I don't mind being around people when they smoke. It doesn't bother me per se. And I've had people offer me. I didn't even get into weed. I was just like, nope. That's that one event in your life. You will be like,
Hmm.
nope. I'm sorry. I'll pass. I think I told you that story where he
Yeah, I
caught me
think
smoking.
so.
Yeah, and I hid the cigarettes in my underwear drawer and everything else, and he made me take it out to a pile in the backyard. We burned it, and he dumped 16 or 17 rounds out of the Beretta, and then put a hot barrel right there in the bridge of my nose. I ever catch you again, I brought you into this world. I will fucking take you out of it. All because he didn't want me to go down the same path he did, and wound up as a
Yeah.
trachea patient. Lesson learned.
Yes. Some lessons are best taught with a peach switch. Believe me,
Hmm.
both of my grandmothers had taught me quite a few lessons I will never forget.
Mm.
Uh,
My one grandmother had this poodle. Oof, Misty. Don't touch Misty. Why not, Grandma? Because she'll bite your hand off. And don't touch her. So one day I got the bright idea to try to, just ever so gently pet her back. Boy, as soon as the fur on her back got the sense of me, my hand up there. I start to holler, and I'm trying to damn near gave the dog whiplash. Grandma comes in there, just kicks me across the floor. I told you not to touch Misty. What the hell wrong with you, boy? Didn't your daddy raise you right? I know I raised him. Asshole. I told you not to touch that damn dog.
oh, one of my mom's brothers had a Mexican hairless that would fit in a teacup. He usually kept it in his shirt pocket.
Oh, jeez.
You could not get within 8 feet of him. Not even his wife could get close to him. Hey, there must have been some conditions that did not apply because they had 2 kids. So, uh, Had to be some kind of contact in there somewhere with the dog not involved. And, no, going to a Sunday dinner or a family reunion, you just kind of tiptoed around Uncle Bill and hope the dog stayed in his pocket. If it ever launched itself, it'd be like a teeny tiny alligator.
Okay. So it's in a pocket. So that's the silo, right? A ballistic
Yeah.
fur missile.
Hey,
Ballistic fur missile.
hello, Mike Jimmy.
What's up,
Hello,
dude?
Aurora.
Let's see if I can get myself centered.
Oh,
She's
she
already
is
looking like, who
beautiful.
are? I'm just looking at that face. It's just like, who are all these people?
This
You
is
didn't draw them, did you, Dad?
more, but I'm not hungry anymore, and I'm only halfway down my bottle, so I need more.
No.
Yeah.
You had a long night for once.
I want to relive those days, but I don't want to relive those days.
Is she starting to sleep through the night?
Oh no, she started sleeping through the night at 6 weeks.
Oh, good.
So no, we've just had a couple of rough nights last week, where she wakes up very early, like 4 a.m. instead of the usual between 6 and 7.
Mm.
And last night we had a weird night where, well, we're starting to have a mouse problem because I don't have a cat anymore. And the wheel for the stroller that we have for her had a leak. So I replaced the inner tire. And while I was taking care of her in the middle of the night, finally got her settled down. She was finally starting to fall asleep again. The inner tire exploded. So Luz and I stand up straight in her bed going, the frick was that? Yeah, for it to be like, oh, okay. Luckily I got 2 of them. Because that was a thing. And we like using our stroller to get around. Yeah.
If you lived over here, I got a buddy that's got nine kittens he's trying to get rid of.
We got a very nice one. It's the like we got the whole Maxi Cozy set, and we essentially got it
cats.
for free.
Kittens.
No. My wife is allergic to cats. I used to have a wonderful cat. That sadly had to give away to a wonderful little lady that takes really good care of her. But yeah, I miss my little buddy. On the other hand, look what I got back.
Yeah.
It was a very hard decision. But if you have to wake your wife up to go, please start breathing again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
When you go, we got to make a decision between the cat and
your life. Yeah, breathing is important.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to keep Luz around for a long time,
especially if she's carrying your child at the same time. Like it's not one person you're grabbing on that. No.
I see. Yes.
She was very allergic. Like she was already very allergic to cats in general. But it only got worse with the pregnancy.
I wonder if the biochemical changes during pregnancy it kind of exacerbated the allergy.
Yeah, probably.
It would happen. It would happen, or at least it's possible. So yeah.
Yeah. On the other hand, she's no longer allergic to kiwis, so it one gets worse and the other doesn't exist anymore. So
hey, you take what trades you're offered.
Yeah.
Oh.
What is it, baby? Yeah, you could have your bottle down. I want you to drink more. I need you to drink more.
That's not anything my parents ever said to me. He says with a beer in his hand. Uh,
Yeah, that's. I know.
mm,
She's
that
starting
one's going.
to.
That one's going to be an opera singer. She got some lungs on her.
Oh yeah. No, she's got something new going on for her. She now blows on things that she's sucking on. So she will be in her bed with her pacifier in her mouth, looking up at the ceiling, going. It's
Ooh,
hilarious. It's also terrifying at 2 a.m.
I know, I know. I was just thinking, if she starts blowing air back up in the bottle and pressurizes it, that's going to give her gas, which is going to make her cry. And
Nah,
you've got to figure out the reason.
we got these special bottles that have a vent in there, and that keeps the bottle and the air out for a big part. Yeah, this is your bottle.
Will
That's right.
wonders never cease? I mean, they keep on improving baby raising technology. Now that I don't have any, uh,
We even have a sippy cup with a valve in there. We, yeah, no, it works though.
yeah. Hey,
Hmm.
What is it, like a blow off valve or something that if enough pressure goes one way, it just
Yeah, yeah, just a little rubber valve going over
little little
the
siphoning
sippy
blow
part.
off
It
valve.
works really well. We tried it yesterday, but because we use thickener for her bottles for milk, it didn't go through properly, and she doesn't have the sucking power yet to actually go through the valve with this stuff.
Mm.
But once we get to water and stuff, she'll be 6 months in 2 weeks. So yippee!
fussy little girl. Yes.
But
How
honey
are
butter go.
you? Bright eyes.
There we go. Yeah. You see? Hello. It's not on the camera. There we go. Hello. Oh, yeah,
Yes,
they're
I
big
remember them
girls.
days. It was only 13 years ago for me.
Time flies, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, 14. She's turning 15 this year because she's a Pearl Harbor baby. Well, 12, 7, 9.
Hmm.
So yep, she will be 15 this year. Oh boy.
My folks started me off helping raise my cousins and neighbors' kids and my brother and sister. Some failures were made. Uh, yeah. I, somebody asked me once, how many babies have I helped raise? And I go, somewhere around 50, I think. So, yeah. Um,
The walking expert.
well, I don't know about expert because, times change and people adapt their
Yeah.
behavior. And,
I mean, that's what we're
uh,
getting. That's what we were talking about right before Mike Jimmy came on. He was listening to us about how what we grew up to and how we did things is now so unacceptable.
Yeah.
People are willing to start fights and territorial and domestic disturbances over. And it's like, but this worked. Well, it's this
Well,
way now.
here's the
yeah.
thing. Like, my parents never hit either myself or my siblings. Um, well,
So
okay, maybe my brother, but on the other hand, literally a criminal. So,
So
so
you're saying that no physical discipline was ever used?
no, not at all. We had our timeouts. We were sent to our rooms. We were like, we were disciplined, but not physically.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I
there were
understand that.
serious consequences to misbehaving. But at no point, my sister and I, was it like, because once you're over that line with physical abuse, you don't go back.
And see, that's the concept that I think people struggle with is where do you draw the line of physical abuse to
Corporal
what would,
punishment.
yeah, physical abuse, corporal punishment to just discipline. Hey, you did this. Don't do that again. Ah, you know,
There
people,
are,
society has so many different opinions today. And
oh
even
yeah,
then, even in the 80s, even in the, going backwards, even people still
yeah,
had so many different opinions.
Oh
Where did
yeah.
you draw the line? But I think in the older days, people had way more tolerance to disagreement and dissimilar opinions. Well, if you want
well,
to do that, you do that. I'm going to do this. Let's just
I have a
nowadays
counter argument to
people
that.
have. I think today, in today's modern progressive, more, or should I say more progressive, people can't accept the fact that there's going to be a dissimilar opinion, and they have to drive it in how right they are, how wrong you are, and how much of an example you're going to make of how wrong they are by doing X, Y, Z. Of ooh, look at what this person did. I got a video recording of it. Blah, 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 blah. Like,
So
mind your
I
own
have a
business.
complete counter argument to that. And here's the thing: 20 years ago, how many people were in your life that you knew about, that you were talking to daily, and that weren't in your direct community? And we're talking outside of your job, outside of your family life, outside of you just going around the street, and outside of your city, the regular places you go to. That number probably wasn't bigger than 150 people. And now you go on the internet, right? And you go to Twitter or X, or you go to Facebook, or you go to Instagram, and all those people that had those same other opinions 20 years ago had their own little bubble of those same amounts of people with the same kinds of opinions, because it was way harder to be confronted with different opinions. And your
Hmm.
mind is not ready yet to take that many different opinions. Like, we still have a social anxiety mammoth right up in our heads that is 10,000 years old, because 10,000 years ago, your local bubble was 10 to 15 people in your tribe. It's not the thousands that you're seeing today. Your head isn't ready to be able to handle that. Mine isn't, hers isn't, nobody's is. And so every single time you are confronted with something that is different from you, it is very hard to put yourself aside and be like, okay, that is a different opinion. They may be wrong, they may be right. How right am I in my own opinion? And so people back then weren't more tolerable, they weren't less tolerable, they were just the same, with less people that they had to deal with daily.
All right, let me throw a monkey wrench into that.
Yeah, no,
Now
definitely.
add to the equation the number of in the same bubble, because I can admit most of my friends online are people that are nowhere near me. Many do have different opinions, but we tend to not
Oh yeah,
engage and bump heads about it. We will occasionally, but at least we're sensible enough because we're all in the same age range you maybe got a point there. I was wrong. Okay, let's just let it go.
Yeah.
But now take the same bubble from your childhood and let's add in the opposing opinions of the same bubble. That's where the tolerance comes in, is in the same bubble of people you speak of, family members, friends, co-workers, and let's add school teachers or faculty. Out of that entire bubble of you growing up with people of those of different opinions, how often did you find yourself having to actually duke it out to see who was right, who was wrong, who's getting exposed, who's getting canceled, compared to today if you took the exact same number from then to the exact same number now?
And those numbers are going to be like getting canceled way higher. On the other hand, it's just easier because it's easier to
I
find.
get the easy part, but the
Yeah.
monkey wrench I'm throwing in here is the bubble, you would say, is biased towards similar opinions. So I'm adding the invader bubble of those in the same big bubble, add that little bubble of who has opposing opinions or dissimilar opinions. What happened then versus what happens now?
A very simple thing. You can literally talk it out directly. And if you disagree, you can have a fight, and you're still going to be still going to have to put up with these people. You know, there are people, parents from school children that I used to go to school with, that would come to birthday parties with their kids. For me or my sister, because I went to the same school, when we were in the same class because they were tiny. So you had the same kind of kids on every, and like there were plenty of parents my parents didn't go along with, and so you had to put up. And with the internet, you no longer have to put up. If you don't disagree with someone, you can just block them. Bye. You're out of my life. And that makes it way harder for people to. I know.
She is so like into this conversation. Yeah, he's right, Daddy. You better not argue with him.
You go, Dad.
Yeah, you leave bearded man alone, but you let goatee dude. He's got the argument for you. Sorry, Dan.
That's all right. I'm just remembering I was raised by a succession of generations going back to the Victorian era.
See, that's another factor is where are your roots? Are you a rural person? Are you a suburban person? Are you a suburbanite? Are you a city dweller? Are you a farm boy? Are you just
Yeah,
common? There's so many aspects. When I come with the tolerance issue, I think that in the older days, it was just even when we started to get the internet, you saw the rise.
Oh yeah.
Of where even people with similar interests even started to get into things where they would find a way to find something dissimilar and make an issue out of it, making a mountain out of an anthill.
Yes.
The core issue I'm having now is how even people you may be familiar with want to drive it into you now. They're just like, no, you're going to accept this or you're going to pay the consequences. Whereas in the older days, people you were familiar with, well, I don't agree with you, so you go on and do yourself.
Yeah,
that's not even a thing anymore. You have to fight for your very societal existence these days.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. That is definitely one of the downsides of social media.
Yeah,
Because
it's like I do it myself. Like I try to stick to the old days, and there's a lot of people that will compliment me on this. They'd be like, there have been times where there was something that I really was passionate about that I absolutely knew that person was wrong, and it's like, look, dude, I'm not going to argue with you. Here's the facts. Take it or leave it, because this is factual, hard, debunked information, or not debunked, but proven information that says you're not accurate here. Yeah, I mean, I've lost friends over it. I've even made friends out of it. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I will. I'm more of a moderator to many of the different people that I know. I'm the guy in between of everything. I will see this party's fault. I will see this party's fault. I will see this party's pros. I will see that party's pros, and I will make a mesh grid out of all of it and say, well, look, they're right on this aspect. They are right on that aspect. But I'm not going to choose a side or not. Because if you guys make me choose a side, I'm going to say the heck with all of y'all, and you'll never
Yeah.
talk to me again.
No, the thing is, like, and this is a big issue with, having brains that are still made for 10 to 15 people daily. The belief, you believe you're right.
Yeah, self-bias.
Yeah. And that is so hard to pull away from. That even if you are shown facts, you're not ready to take those facts as facts because they go against your beliefs. I was on a stream with Nick Tuckert like 2 years ago and Luke Stone, and he was discussing a homosexual rave in a comic. And he was like, well, what if my children are going to read this comic? I don't want my 13-year-old son to see these kinds of things. I want him to grow up as a good Christian. He is a pastor. He's a conservative. I respect that. There's nothing wrong with that. But he showed that image, and I just, that looks like me 16 years ago. I'm from the Netherlands. We were first in pretty much everything, and we don't care. But so Nick and I started making counter arguments, going, if your son isn't gay, he's not going to care. If he's not into other men, he's not going to care. If you brought him up in the way that you think is fit, and he thinks himself a good Christian, and you think of him as a good Christian,
And temptation won't bother him.
It won't bother him. It won't change him. It's not a disease. It's not gonna, you see a fellow naked man and at the gym and go, you know what? Suddenly it works. It doesn't.
No.
And the belief was so strong on him that it, just made him loop back into, yeah, I'm a conservative pastor. And I'm like, that's not part of the argument here. That's not the argument you're trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
But you're, at that point, you're so stuck. And I still really respect him. He's a really cool dude. Don't get me wrong. This is something we differ on. And I'm happy for him that he has a very special, like, he's got his own place in his life and he's doing well for himself. And yeah, Christianity and I didn't ever really get along. On the other hand, the only reason I know English as well as I do is because of going through an English church with my grandparents when I was like 3.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, the point that I was trying to make was it was parallel to that, but it's I have seen family values and parenting change over almost 8 generations now.
Yeah.
And I can follow it along, there was a time back in the day when spare the whip, spoil the child was the norm.
Yeah.
Then it was a little bit less aggressive than that. And then it became okay. Um, gonna have to use my wits here and not physically discipline the child, but I've got to let them know that I'm very disappointed in their behavior. And then you get on and on and on up till nowadays, and it's like uh, almost 30 years ago. Uh, One of my grandsons was running around the house in diapers, pulling stuff off the glass stuff off the coffee table.
Mhm.
I told him no 3 times. His mama didn't say a word. His daddy's sitting there just going, "Oh, it's Papa Dan's house. I can't do nothing. Besides, this is my ex-wife. If I say a word, she's gonna take the boy away." I
Yeah,
swatted his diaper very lightly once and said no in a very loud voice. I didn't get to see the kid again until he was 18.
yeah. No. Here's the thing.
And it wasn't the law. It was just
Yeah.
mama said, "No, that's not the way we do things nowadays." And I'm just going, um, when he's old enough, he's going to make up his own mind whether he ever wants to come back and visit again.
Yeah.
Luckily, he did. Luckily for me. Uh, he forgave me for, he didn't even feel it. It was more of a sound on his diaper. But, um, anyway, that was where I ran into the cultural difference between I got switched, I got spanked, it's no longer socially acceptable. So I have to stop doing that. So I had to switch to psychological warfare.
Ooh, psyops. Hey, Dan, bouncing back to that Kalashnikov bike,
Yeah.
the other friend has replied. He said, "Never mind the bike. I want that."
Ooh.
I told you he's gonna be like, "The hell with the bike. Let me find something else that I like." He says, "This is my favorite. I want this badly."
I'm gonna go and see if she wants to drink while I'm walking. So give me one second.
All right.
Alrighty.
I knew he'd see that post. He'd be like, "This dude here."
I was just looking at the Kalishnikov bottle and going, yeah, back in college, I know exactly what would have happened with that bottle.
That is hilarious. He said, "Never mind the bike. This is my favorite."
Uh,
Oh man.
no, and I hope I didn't upset Mike Jimmy. Yeah, I've seen parenting styles and whatnot
Mm-hmm.
change. I mean, my
No, no, no
grandparents
we're
were
doing
late.
that.
My
Oh, we heard
grandparents
you.
were
We
late
heard you.
Victorian.
We
Uh,
heard you, Dan.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Good.
no.
Good.
I still get you on the background. You. You didn't offend me. You didn't do anything. I'm not. If anything, I'm enjoying the conversation. But she is, she still has half her bottle that she needs to down
She
because
did launch her.
Yes.
She launched
she's
her
got a
dating
long
pool too. So I saw that thing
night.
just go.
So I'm literally just walking around the room seeing if that helps.
I know the drill. Believe me.
Exactly. Like, don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Um, Social norms may have changed, but babies don't.
Right.
They still need attention. They still need love. They still need, as they get older, they still need boundaries set. Uh, they still need access to things that will engage their mind, books, coloring books. Um, I think the worst thing you can ever do to a kid is plop them down in front of a TV set with a remote and tell them, "This is your babysitter. I'm going to work."
Yep. Apparently,
Seriously.
my daughter just knocked and she's alerting me that she's going to make a grilled cheese sandwich because she can't sleep.
So now you want a grilled cheese sandwich.
No, she's
Pavlov
making me.
strikes again. Uh,
That's why I was like looking over here because she knocked on the door. She's like, "Daddy, I need to make a grilled cheese sandwich." Okay, baby.
oh, I got something I'm going to try after the show tonight. First
Ooh,
time.
do tell. Oh, what? Melatonin?
Yeah,
I mean, are you
nope,
uh,
never tried
okay?
before.
What's the dosage on that?
5 milligrams.
Are you having trouble sleeping?
Always.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if you're not
Um,
having trouble sleeping, cut that in half and see how it runs.
no, no. My biological clock runs from about sleep time at 3 to 5 a.m. till I wake up at 10 to 12 in the morning.
I'm about the same. Yeah, 6 to 8 hours. I'm usually in bed by 3 or 4, up by 11 or 12.
Yeah. Well, I've got stuff I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Tomorrow being Mother's Day, I've got to be awake. I've got to drive my wife to the restaurant at 2 p.m. I've got to clean up for my mom. Um, I've
Uh,
got to
um,
dress nicely.
we are past midnight, so today is Mother's Day.
Yes, well, she's been asleep for about 8 hours now, so or at least
I
sitting
just
in
want
the
to say,
chair
I want to say,
snoring.
I just want to say, you said tomorrow's Mother's Day. I was like, wait a minute, we're
Hey,
past midnight now.
I work swing shift. It's not tomorrow until after I wake up.
Yeah, no, I'm nocturnal. I'm very nocturnal myself, and what started that is I would say 6, 7 years ago as an IT contractor. I was one of the on-call stuff hit the fan, remote in, fix it guys,
Yeah.
and I always opted for the third shift because then I could also be doing things online. Nobody else is bothering me. Then I kind of got into the gaming aspect too of gaming because I do a lot of player versus player, which is you versus another live individual sitting at a computer. A lot of that dies down. It makes some of the games that I play, which are survival games, they're all logged off. So it's just me running around doing what I got to do, stacking up everything and getting everything,
Setting
you
up
know.
booby traps. Uh,
So yeah, I became very nocturnal, and yeah, my typical time range is wake up noon on average, in bed by 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning average. But I do actually need to kick that back around because with Morgan turning 15 and getting into driver's ed and everything, I'm gonna have to start, you know,
mhm.
turning that around.
Um,
And
with me, it was 46 years of swing shift
yeah,
and having to be either uh, well, we did have a uh, 3 8-hour shifts at one time, but then we went to two 12-hour shifts.
hmm
So I was either up all night and asleep all morning and afternoon, or I was up all day and then trying to
hmm
sleep at night because being awake at night is a little bit more comfortable just for my biological clock.
yeah.
Just
I think my worst time is in respect to swing shifting was when I was Civil Air Patrol because once I became a senior member
Oh dear.
and I was a wing, George. You know how? Do you know how Civil Air Patrol works?
yeah.
You got all the little squadrons in various counties and cities. Then you have a region of the state. Well, then you had what was called the state wing. So for me, once I transitioned into Georgia State Wing of Civil Air Patrol, I became an on-call. all the time person, because Civil Air Patrol, not exactly at the level of Boy Scouts, as in the low sense. Civil Air Patrol actually, if
I'm
need
gonna hop
be,
again because she is very active, and Luz just woke up as well. So I'll talk to you guys later.
all right, it
All
was good
right.
seeing you, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah,
And
no.
good night, Aurora. Get some sleep. Drink your milk.
Yep.
Eat your veggies.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So once I became a wing asset or a wing member, basically they were looking to me to organize things, because Civil Air Patrol is also a search and rescue and civil defense and disaster readiness.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times where there have been moments where, even for exercises, they would hit you. I mean, of course, we knew way ahead of time. We had these things planned out. Okay, you need to set aside this number of days this week, whatever it may have been. And once you got closer and closer and closer, you had to adjust yourself to be ready, that like any other responder anywhere around you, it was that buzzer goes off,
Instant on.
get your gear in that, get your rear end in gear.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest events I ever organized was a SARX, which is a search and rescue exercise, where we took 20 different squadrons, and this actually was an interstate exercise. The whole southeast region participated in this one. So we had 4 squadrons from Alabama, 3 squadrons from Tennessee, 6 from Georgia, and 7 from Florida, and we all convened uh, into the Okefenokee swamps of South Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
because this was going to be a combined effort joint search and rescue of 2 aircraft, 1 boat, and 5 cars. The goal here was to teach them how to transition from a crisis of a disaster where they were having to look for a downed aircraft in a marshland type environment, a vehicle or off road, or somebody just randomly lurking around was trapped in a marshland, and then a boat or an airboat had become stranded in such an environment that is A, extremely difficult to traverse by foot, B, required not only air assets, but water and land assets to access. In all, we had over 600 people all in this area. We had bought 5 vehicles from a local junkyard. We didn't actually put aircraft in the ground. What we did was is we got a couple of decoy balloons. The
Yeah.
Air Force gave us these massive decoy balloons, and we blew them up and carried them by helicopter, and then dropped them in the middle of the swamp. And then we took an ELT, and I would just sit there on the left side seat, and I'd drop the ELT right on top of the balloon. And the ELT was it's emergency locating transmitter. And of course, you know what that is. The little
Yeah.
thing that goes
Yeah.
beep, 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 beep. And the beeping is an audible signal if you're close enough. It has a very intensive white strobe light, but it's also radiating a radio signal that satellites and all of us could converge on to pinpoint where this thing was going off. And then we could start our search. So we would put the balloon down, anchor it down, and then we'd get back up about 500 feet directly over the balloon. And I'd hold that ELT out the window and just go, oops. And that thing would slap the ground. And with the impact, the ELT would autonomously think, oh, I've been in a crash. Beep, beep, beep,
Beep,
beep,
beep, beep.
beep, beep, beep. We'd haul ass out of the area, and I would send the alert page out to all the units, flash traffic message, ELT detected, U.S. Air Force, FAA, both confirmed. ELT is broadcasting this general area. Spool up Spool up Cap Flight 963, spool up 964, and 921. That's 3 aircraft, fixed wing Cessnas. They would launch out of Albany and Valdosta. So that means they're converging on each other. One aircraft would stay high and do an orbit at 5,000 feet in a mile radius. And the whole time they've got a thing on the aircraft, little omnidirectional antenna, and there's a display in either the forward right seat or the one of the rear seats, and it was a direction finder.
Yeah.
And as soon as they locked onto that thing, the aircraft would radio down because they could see the people on the ground with the boats and the quads and whatever else we had going on. They would radio down to, Cap Brown 34, 33, whatever the number was. Of course, that's where my online moniker username comes from. I was Capstar362 in Civil Air Patrol. Now
Yeah.
you know why my online name is so unique. If you actually Google my name, Capstar362, the entire first page is nothing but my online identity of all these various places that I hang out, and I use that as my name instead of, my actual legal name, because you know how it is in today's world.
Yep.
Um,
Hello, Angelina.
hello. So,
Oh,
swing shifts are difficult. I will admit, even in my 20s, that was a very hard thing to do.
I always found when we had the 3 8 hour shifts per day, I always found second shift to be the most comfortable. You
Hmm.
clock in at 3 in the afternoon, you clock out at 11 at night, get home, or if you're lucky, there's still a few restaurants that you can go hang out with your friends and, you know, party for a little while, or just go home and stay up and do something till about 3 a.m.,
Hmm.
crash, wake up somewhere around 10,
You see, I never liked
and
first shift either because everybody's always crunching. Get this done. Get this.
yeah,
Because it's opening of the day for the business hours, and so opening is always the most difficult. I
mhm,
agree. Second shift was always the most peaceful, and then third shift was it's either going to be just one and maybe one other person of you shutting everything down, and then you're bored out your mind. So yeah,
or
it all
with
makes
no
sense.
management there, everything actually ran smoothly and you were fighting to stay awake.
I know some people that work third shift at like places, fast food restaurants. They're just sitting there fiddling their thumbs on TikTok or YouTube or texting every friend left and right, and then the occasional drive-through. Boom, boom. Welcome to Taco Bell. How may I take your order, sir?
Exactly. Then when we went to 2 12 hour shifts a day, it's
Mm,
like
I
you're
don't think I've
you're
ever
either
done 12-hour.
7 to 7 or 7 to 7. Uh, in the
That would
wintertime,
that would confuse the hell out of me.
in the wintertime, you did not know that the sun existed. Uh, you went to work in the dark, you came home in the dark.
Hmm.
You were either asleep while the sun was up, or you walk out of the building and go, "What is
Yeah,
this
I don't think I could ever do 12 hours.
brightness?"
Hall County, as a matter of fact, Subway about 5 years ago, they've converted all their stuff to 12-hour shifts now. Corrections, sheriff's office, PD, they all run 12-hour shifts now. I don't know how they do it. Or yeah,
Um,
12-hour.
yeah, well, if you get used to 8 and then you have to go to 12, it's not that rough. If you are used to 12 and have to go to 8, it can be a bit jarring. But
Hmm.
like I said, with my body clock, sleep at 3, get up at 10, uh, mess around, whatever, do everything you got to do during the day. then go to work at 3 in the afternoon till 11 o'clock at night. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. You can do it. Tw- 12 and 12 was better because you had more days off. The days,
Time accrued, right?
yeah, well, it was 4 on and 4 off for a 12 and 12. They had a really complicated schedule that would give you like 2 days off, then switch to second shift, and then you had 1 day off and switch to third shift, and then you had 4.5 days off before you came back on first shift, or yeah, whatever. And it's like you're making good money, but you're never awake long enough to go spend any. At least with 12 and 12, um, you had an entire 4 days that you could go shopping, you could take the trash off, you could wash your car, you could mow your yard, you could stay up however late that your body would let you, as long as you were able to go back on the next shift 4 days later, everything was good. And like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I put up with this for 46 years. And my wife is going, not even nursing is that hard. I'm, honey, you're right. Uh, and then again, she's wrong because nursing entails a hell of a lot more emotional investment. Otherwise, you're not doing it right, even though you're not supposed to get emotionally invested in your patients. Um, that's just the only way to do it, as far as I know, because I've known quite a few nurses in my time. Um, and it's always been the same thing. Not supposed to get involved, but I can't help but care. Well, if you didn't care, you wouldn't be in the job you are. Um, it's not a job requirement, but helps make you better at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not supposed to be part of what you do, it does. I, I don't really know how to explain it any better. Um,
Yeah. I think for me, having, IT as I got older, being on call at various times, but then also doing responder like stuff where you had to keep that mentality, hey, this phone could ring at any time, and
hmm
you've got to do what you got to do. I think it's kind of trained my body that I don't even think I really even have a clock anymore. I have literally gone to bed with the intention of getting 6 hours of sleep, and then something would happen, whatever it may have been, that I didn't get enough sleep and I need to go on a trip, or I didn't get, I'm 1 or 2 hours in, and somebody calls me from my family or a friend or whatever it may be. Even with just an hour of sleep, boom, I'm up, I'm in gear, and I'm going.
Yep.
Like I inadvertently I have done that to the point where um, a big change was happening a few years ago in my life, and I was asked to help somebody move from West Virginia to Tennessee. Now, for whatever reason, the other change that was going on in my life was sitting in the back of my head. The back burner thought processes. I didn't sleep. I'm sitting there just laying in. I have kind of dabbled in this a little bit. There is documentation that says as long as you can keep yourself motionless on a bed, you don't physically need REM sleep. But as long as you are in a position where you are relaxed, you're in a state of relaxation like how you normally sleep, you can still refresh your body enough. So I got an hour literally of sleep. But the remainder of the time, which would have been 6 hours of sleep, I'm just laying there like, whatever, you know. But I'm still physically resting. I drove 8.5 hours after getting just 1 hour of sleep with a 40-foot U-Haul truck bearing down of 27,000 pounds worth of moving somebody. Incident
Hmm.
free. Incident free. As a matter of fact, they almost slid off the road. But me, oh, they slept good. They had a perfect night's sleep. But me, I had 1 little hour of actual sleep, and I'm just sitting there laying there like, whatever, I'll deal with this later. And then I drive for 8.5 hours with a 27,000 pound truck.
Yeah. I have discovered that there is an old person secret.
Why did you? Old patient secret. What was that all about?
Well, I'm not exactly a spring chicken anymore. No, there's a reason why uh, grandparent age people will take cat naps in their chair several times a day and then seem to be able to function for 48 hours at a time without any sleep whatsoever. And it's because, you know, even in the middle of the day, if you nod off for an hour or you half nod off and did your dad ever complain when somebody changed the channel on the TV while he was sleeping in the lazy boy? He wakes up right then and goes, "I was watching that." That's because he was listening to it
Mm,
and still getting more REM sleep than you can get at night. Basically, just it's condensed. It's just uh I know philosophers could probably do a hell of a lot better job explaining it than me and probably a couple of doctors, but you know, it seems to be a condition of getting older where you can catnap and wind up with the ability to just snap awake and do something, even if it's some really complicated, mind intensive task, because you have that, your brain has rested,
hmm
but you didn't actually sleep. You just kind of snoozed a little, if you can catch the uh, the difference. But yeah, um,
Have you ever had the opposite though? Have you ever had the exact opposite? Your mind is fully rested and it's ready to process the universe, but your body's like, "Would you shut the hell up?" And you're just like, and your brain's just going, "Move, move, 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 move." Your body's like, "No, no." I said, "No, no." It's so weird how that happens. Like you'll have your brain rested, ready to fire, everything going, neurons full steam ahead, nuclear reactor. Your body's like, I'm a tired old rusted car. We're not doing shit.
yes, I'm a writer. I understand fully.
But then there's other times where your body's just like, "Ugh, Viking, let's get this done. I'm gonna smash anything in my
Mm.
in my way," and your brain's just like, uh, what did you say?
Yeah, that's basically. I will wake up. I will stumble to the bathroom. I will run a brush through my hair. I will go to the coffee pot and I will make a cup of coffee. My wife starts trying to tell me her plans for the day, and I'm going, I hear noise, but there's no meaning involved. Uh,
I hear
wait,
gibberish sounds that are unprocessable.
I keep trying to tell her, wait until after my second cup of coffee before you actually try to get my brain to engage in anything. You just watch your soap operas. I can make my own coffee. Um, it's just she's so perky. Uh,
Uh-oh. Look at this. Somebody has spotted the famous Homer railroad car again. I took a
oh
photo of it.
really?
Remember I was telling you about that some time ago? The virtual rail fan people. We have a catalog of all the rail cars that have been spotted around the U.S., namely The Simpsons. So somebody has finally spotted Homer again. We have the entire Simpson family. We've got Homer, Marge, Maggie, Bart, Lisa, and actually we have the sisters too. And then there's Moe. Krusty has been spotted. Burns has been spotted. Mr. Smithers has been spotted. But now we're also starting to see Family Guy and other cartoons as this graffiti here on rail cars. And for whatever reason, they won't clean it off. And I have found out why. When you see like these numbers and these barcodes and these placards and everything,
Hmm.
apparently, if the graffiti is not offensive and it does not cover up the regulatory markings of the rail car, they'll let it slide. But if you do something where it covers up the markings and the indications of what the car is, the serial number, what kind of brakes it has, they have to respray the car to get the regulatory markings back visible. But yeah,
Hmm.
this is so much fun doing this stuff in the rail fan community. This car has been in so many places photographed. There's videos of it even going across a crossing. Somebody even made one with the Simpsons theme song. As it's going across the crossing.
There is one caboose that used to be very, very common at the factory. Sometimes
Hmm.
it would sit there for a month before it ever got hooked back up to a train and go. I could recognize that damn thing miles away. Uh,
There's a caboose in Flowery Branch they've got sitting over there off the Norfolk Southern line. I've actually got 2 videos I filmed from right there, or maybe more. I forgot how many videos I have now on my channel of rail
well,
fanning.
the graffiti on it is not very artistic, and you get the feeling that either they used the wrong kind of paint or it got scrubbed down a few times. But
Yeah.
it's starting to look like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Wow. I mean, yeah, there's some of these people, and this will actually divide the hobby. People are like, "Oh, you got graffiti idiots again," but other people are like, "Could you imagine just how much time it would take to like that Homer?"
Hmm.
It has been said that it was 20 man hours by the anonymous person who may or may not have done that art. That it took him 20 hours of that car sitting somewhere where nobody cared about it for a while until they got put back into service for him to spray that 60-foot long rail car and make that thing an actual crisp. What is up with my hand here? My
Screen
web,
accurate. Yeah.
my webcam's picking up a lot of dirt on my hand. Shit.
Mm.
Anyway, yeah. So I mean, that it's an accurate piece of artwork that looks like something would put on canvas. And people are like, it's graffiti. It's a criminal act. Get rid of it. And other people are like, no.
In a word, Banksy.
You know, I mean, I find myself siding with the artist as long as you
Definitely.
do what the railroad says. Don't mess with the regulatory markings. serial numbers, or anything else that identifies the car, have at it. Don't be offensive. Don't be a prick about it. Don't be putting up there, gang signs and F this and, anatomy of male or female body parts or whatever. Do something that expresses yourself. I'm fine with it. There's actually some very, very good artwork out there.
Yeah. And I have seen a lot of it, and not only on those railroad cars that come in.
Walls, buildings, smokestacks. Remind me again how they get up on these bridges in Atlanta. I mean, how do you? What is that place? Right there by the state capitol,
Yeah.
heading southbound. There's a railroad bridge up there. There's a pedestrian bridge up there. There's a road bridge up there. But there's also something up there that I don't know. My mind just cannot comprehend how they got up there. It's a conduit bridge because it connects the state archives, power, and data to the Georgia Capitol. It's just pipes in this little steel bridge that runs over the
Hmm.
connector right before the tunnel, right before the big tunnel at the Georgia Capitol. It looks like a little miniature railroad bridge, but it's actually a conduit bridge because I've seen it from the top down. There is nothing but pipes and cables and conduits running through this thing, and it's got this massive barbed wire protection thing running across it. How are they have painted it numerous times? How are these people getting onto this thing while there's traffic below them? This massive razor wire fence on both sides, and one side is the secured parking lot of the Georgia Capitol. The other side, as soon as you get off the wall of the interstate, there is a 20-foot chain link fence, and the Georgia State Archives building less than 2 foot away from that fence. How are they getting over that fence to get on this thing? How are they getting into the secured parking lot to get over the razor wire fence of that side to hang off of this thing and spray paint new graffiti? How are they doing this? Inquiring minds would like to know because you'll see they'll spray it all that dark tone gray again. And then about a week later, I guarantee you on one side or the other, the south side or the north side of that little conduit tunnel, there'll be new stuff up there.
Hmm.
I'm like, how? How? It's like, are they stopping a vehicle temporarily and hanging a ladder up the top of that thing? The vehicle drives off with the ladder, and then they do their work, and then another car comes up and they climb down the same ladder and then drive off. But then you would be right there in the middle of 6 different cameras looking right at you. Like, how?
Yes, and the security never seems to see a thing.
Yeah, it is so weird.
Aliens.
And you can't stop in that tunnel right there at the Georgia Capitol is just like the airport. You stop a car in there, in 2 minutes flat, you will have an Atlanta Police Department at your rear asking you, "Hey, are you okay? Look, you can't stay here. Do you need a tow truck? Do you need gas? What do you need? You got to get out of this tunnel." So how are they getting up there on that little conduit tunnel without them
Uh,
knowing? Or do they have Klingon cloaking technology?
uh, uh, you know, uh, if it existed 30 years ago, I'd say somebody's got a fleet of drones with a can of spray paint each. Uh,
Oh yeah, this has been going on for decades of them hitting that
I
little
know,
thing.
I know, I know. I used to wonder how somebody would paint a big heart with initials on it on a water tower. And I'm going,
But I mean, there's a ladder on a
aren't there
water tower you can
aren't there
climb up.
security guards? I mean, sir, it's right there at a junior college. Didn't somebody see this?
Mm.
Um,
Oh, you know the ones that really kill me are the big green interstate signs. How are they getting up there? Because if you look at the post where these things are, the big metal post that goes into the ground, the first 10 feet of that ladder have that big metal protective shroud around it. You can't climb up that thing. You have to have lock and key to open that guard shroud to access the actual ladder to climb up there and fix the lights or whatever may be going on. How are they getting up there?
Remember, our species is also the same one that can take a rope and a couple of hollowed out nuts and bolts and climb mountains.
Oh yeah, I get that, but it's like, how are they doing this stuff so fast that nobody is noticing them up there? Oh,
I
zoomies
do
again.
not know. All I know is somebody's got a hell of a lot of free time.
Oh man, I
Oh,
tell you. I'm still mad about the Aurora. I wanted to see that so bad. Nope.
well, we were going to go out tonight with the cameras and see if we could actually get a decent photograph, but I decided I needed a nap, and my wife decided she was going to watch Eurovision from I don't know how long. She watched some kind of retrospective that went on for years.
Hmm.
Uh, but uh, last time I went to the bathroom, she'd already gone to bed. The house is dark, and Carlos Santana is nowhere around, so I didn't get any theme music. Um, but you know, she's
Poor dog.
she's got to get up in time to go to church tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to drop off a surprise gift for her secret sister in the church group without being seen. Um, I, I wish her my best ninja skills, believe me. And then in the afternoon, we've got to meet up with the family and mom at a steak restaurant that my mom does not care for, but my sister makes the choices. I'm going, okay. I see how this is going to play out long time from now, I hope. Um, whatever my sister decides to do with the family farm when it's our myself and my siblings having to make tough choices. Um, I foresee a bunch of McMansions going up on the farm, and
Mm-mm.
yeah, I know Dad would be pissed. Um, I'm tempted to just tell him, look, my little brother's got his house back here. That's his third. You got your house way off on the other side of the county. You can have this part. I want the family home. That'll be my third. I'll pay the taxes. I'll do whatever it takes. I will keep it to where we can start having our family reunions here, just like Mama always wanted. And it just, hey, uh, all I want is not to be alive when some strange family moves into my childhood home.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm sentimental that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Mom and Daddy worked real hard to get that, to turn it into something, to build it up, make it a home, and fast money is not worth giving that up. It's worth more than money can buy. Which, thankfully, my brother and sister don't even know this show exists, so they'll never see it. So I
Sometimes
could
I
be.
wonder if my brother and sister-in-law or my mom is up secretly watching this stuff. Be like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I think one of my aunts may actually be subscribed. I'm not sure. Um,
But I mean, I never have heard about my mom or my bro, any of my family being up at this time. So I'm assuming I'm generally safe because, oh boy,
well, it
never come
is
up in
recorded.
conversation.
I mean, seriously, um,
Yeah,
it's going to be there on YouTube as long as I've got an account.
yeah. For me though, like they know about my channel, but I don't share. So I think I'm pretty safe there. Oh, sorry, I'm opening up these electronic wipes.
Oh, for a minute there, I thought you'd broken into John's serious putty locker. Uh,
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time.
hey, I'm not even supposed to know he's got that. Uh, Not even the government knows that well until tonight. Uh,
Hi, NSA. Hi, ATF.
hey, Bobby, how you doing?
Oh, I still got to talk to him too about the Hallowcon. Shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um,
I'll send him. I
y-
apparently right now Facebook has been on this evil vengeance with me. And I actually have a friend that works as a supervisor at the Austin office uh, for the moderation teams, and somebody is going around in the moderation staff at one of the three offices, and they're just finding stuff in my messenger from years ago, which right now is actually a company policy. You cannot retroactively punish someone, but I have it actually just went to 1 day, so it was somewhere around this time. Um, I was on a 7-day chat ban for no reason, no rule stated, and when I clicked appeal, it was automatically denied. And I was like, this has actually been an on and off thing with me. Somebody's going around at one of the moderation teams doing exactly what the company says you can't do that no more. We stopped that. And so every time this happens, I email my buddy. I said, look, somebody's hit me again. He's already fired one person for this because that person was like, well, I'm a moderator. I'm going to do what I want. I don't like what he says. And my buddy's like, and I'm your boss. Pack your shit.
you just overstepped your responsibility.
Right? And I'm like, thank you. So, I mean, he told me, he literally tells me every time it happens, send me an email and I'll figure out who it was and I'll remind them, don't do that shit. Your job it may cost you your job. Ooh, these things are actually pretty good. I like these. I'm reaching up here to my big screen. I need to do that screen for real. This one's
Oh,
okay.
tell me about it. Um, I've
I
got
actually, I
to.
actually need to take this screen down because it has. I honestly don't know what this is. If I turn this camera around, I'll show you. I'm not sure what's going on here. See that?
Yeah,
It's not backlight burn, but then it's over there too. I have no idea what this is. It's on the inside of the screen because if I wipe it,
It
nothing.
doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's inside the screen, but I have no idea what it is. And I have forever, since I put this screen up when I first moved into this house, and then it just kept getting progressively worse and worse and worse and worse. And I keep telling myself, I need to take this screen down and clean it. I never do.
Yeah, I've got some of the glass wipes that I use on anything with a touch screen, which
That's what I
does
just
not
bought.
involve this modern monitor.
That's what I just bought is a big tub of those.
Yep,
But
I
on
can
this screen, that's something I can't clean from the outside. But that screen, and that screen are blemish free. I just need to figure out what that is.
manufacturing defect is my first
No,
guess.
these screens are. This screen especially is a 10-year-old display. 11 actually now. I got this screen. Um, this is actually, if you look it up, the Vizio M420 SV, and the SV special variant. This screen can actually play games at 1080 resolution because it's got a 1 millisecond panel. It's a first generation 1 millisecond refresh panel, gray to
Hmm.
gray. And when this screen came out, that was almost unheard of. So this is an 11-year-old TV that I have had as a computer monitor playing Battlefield, like first person shooters where you're there is no ghosting on this screen. I love this screen. I pray I can keep it going for as long as I need it to because I love it. Now, this screen is a first gen sharp 42-inch LCD, and it's my secondary when if I'm doing something here, like gaming or whatever, this screen has secondary tasks on it. Like if I'm gaming, Discord's or TeamSpeak's going to be on this screen, so I can see who's talking to me while I'm focused on this screen. I can just glance over. Oh, okay, what you doing, Rico? The screen above it is a 27-inch Lenovo, and it used to have what this screen now has. This screen now has hardware monitoring on it. The entire screen is nothing but a bar graph sliding by with graphics processor powers, central processing power, amount of video RAM used, amount of system RAM used, amount of page file used. It's giving me an instant readout of everything that's going on from my gaming system. So if I'm doing something like a game and I notice the game is just like it starts, acting weird, I can instantly look up and see if it's whether I'm overheating, I'm using too much memory, I need to dial back something. I love it. This screen also ties into my security cameras in the house, so I can flip the mode over and see that at a moment's notice. And then this screen also has a secondary input that ties into my server, which is on this side of me and is my private cloud host machine. Basically, I have the John McClane Live Free. It's a what is it? Live Free or Die Hard. The basement command center. It's a command center. It's a basement. It's a command center. You don't tell me what I want to know. I'm going to kick your ass in your own basement.
Oh, I don't really need any of that, but I've got access to click on something and have it show up on this one monitor.
Yeah, because you got
Although,
you got the big wide wraparound.
yeah,
Does
but
yours? Does that one actually support the split
I
screen
can
mode?
do that.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
was gonna
can do
say
that.
if you have that, you're golden.
Oh, what I would like is for to be able to have it split between two computers.
You can do that if you have multiple inputs on the back. If it has the right mode, you can make left side one computer, right side the other computer.
Um, I tried that, and it tried to give me picture in picture, and then said, "Oh, this is not a gaming computer. We can't do that." And I'm going, "Excuse me." Um,
I'm wondering if, oh, both computers have to be using the same resolution. That's why.
yes. Well, they are now because I went and made sure.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, when I flip from one to the other, it's either doop or doop, and I
Mm-hmm.
got really sick of that the first day. So I went through and made them both the same resolution. But no, it's. I think it's probably the fact that I am using HDMI and just having to manually switch from one computer to the other on the monitor.
Mm.
It may just be that this thing does not have all the bells and whistles it said.
It might. That might be an issue.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got I've got spare monitors.
Mhm.
I could rig up a multi-monitor system, one that was always going on the old computer. Um, the only thing I'm using it for now is balancing my checkbook and paying a couple of my bills because I do not want to have a text on my cell phone to tell me, yes, I'm trying to fucking log in. Give me the code. That is the most annoying thing, especially when
No.
it's supposed to be a a browser that is supposed to automatically sync between both computers. And
Mhm.
yeah, it gives me the bookmarks, but because they are two different computers, the last few digits of the what you call it, the anyway, the code that lets the websites know which computer you are logging in from.
Oh, you're talking about cookies and OTPs, one-time pins?
No, well, that, but then if I if I log into my bank on this computer, I've got to accept a text to punch in a code. The next time I go to the old computer and try and go to the bank, I've got to get the one-time code to
Mm.
re-identify. It's like,
I can tell you why
um,
they're doing that. It's to prevent session hijacking. They're thinking that somebody may be tunneling through your one computer, trying to log in from another computer. The server says, "Wait a minute, you can't do that." So it'll force the other computer off and force you to re-authenticate the session just to ensure that your original session has not been hijacked. So it forces you to create another original session.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's
And
very
I, I, I
annoying,
I'm
but
definitely I'm definitely a back and forth about multi-factor authentication and everything. That is a double-edged sword. And it actually has hit me once already. If you lose that second authenticating piece, you are screwed if the company
mm,
cannot access. Like when I changed my phone number last year because of some ongoing BS with another person, um, I had forgotten about one account. And because I no longer had access to that telephone number, even though I still had the app on the phone, the only way they would accept it is if they could contact the other phone number. And I was like, I don't have that phone number anymore. I have changed my phone number. I don't know who has my original phone number that I created this account on. I am sitting here authenticating everything you have told me except the phone number. Well, unfortunately, sir, there's nothing we can do. I said, you know what? Forget it. Just close the account. I haven't used it in a couple of years now. I have no intention of going back to it. Screw you. Screw the account. Just delete it.
Oh, the ones that there are two that I absolutely loathe, and they have never accepted the fact that mobile phones exist.
Mm-hmm.
And the only phone number that they've got is the landline, and they want to text the landline, which
Except you
is
can't
not
text the
going to
landline.
work.
You can't. Have you ever tried to text the landline? Have you seen what it tells you?
This is not a fucking cell phone. Go away.
Yeah, it says this is a landline number. You are not able to text this number.
Yeah. Yet they insist. I mean, it's like, oh, this is the only telephone number in the universe that we recognize is attached to all the information that you have already verified with us. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going, maybe it is time that I stop having an account with you then. Um, there are a couple of things that every time I get uh, a new credit card where I have to update the security code and the expiration date, or a new debit card from my bank
Mm-hmm.
where I have to do the same thing.
Actually, I just had to do that with my joint account between me and my mother. Some random purchase attempt was made from a site neither one of us had ever heard of before on a card that had a zero balance and was just for emergencies. Somehow somebody figured out they're probably just running random numbers to see, oh, I got a hit. Let's see what's on it. Sorry, your $2 purchase has been declined. And she got the email for it. I was,
When were you in Albuquerque, Mom?
yep.
This thing says
And
Tuesday. Yeah, I know.
3-minute warning. Yep, 3-minute warning. Hey, if you guys want me to
Yeah.
stop that, I will.
What?
So I'm just observative about little tiny little things like that. I
No,
know you
no.
guys try to keep. I know you guys try to keep stupid o'clock in this in that 2 hour confines, and sometimes we get into big conversations, and I'm just sitting there
Uh,
watching that clock creep.
if it weren't for having stuff I have to be adult for tomorrow, we could talk all night, and
Hmm.
Uncle Carl would just say, "Damn you, Dana," because he wants to watch all the madness.
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes I believe Uncle Carl is my biggest fan because he watches every show, even if he does have to wait till the next day. Um,
Well, I mean, I already understand why he makes clips and images and little memes out of them, and then he makes fun of us on the group,
hey, that's all right.
right?
Um,
That's what
I
it's
got a
for.
sense of humor. I mean, seriously,
Yeah, well, yeah.
people been people been poking fun at me all my life. If I wasn't able to take it, I probably wouldn't be here
I
dishing
will
it
say
out.
I will say I felt a little bit concerned in green room the other night when I dropped the ET photo. The whole room just kind of deadened out, and I was like, "Mm, I hope I didn't do that." When we were talking about the hey, $20 is $20, and I dropped that photo,
Oh yeah,
I was
don't
like,
worry about it.
did I just kill the room? I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. Um,
I mean, it's always something that happens with me. It's just,
and unless somebody got a screenshot, it never happened.
is this?
I mean, face it, that is why we feel so free to cut loose in the green room, is because it's not recorded. And
Oh, I
if
gotta.
it ever gets recorded and Carl finds out about it,
Oh God.
whoever did the recording is gone forever.
Hmm. I
Uh-huh.
send this to John. This guy's got a Russian 14.5 uh, cord heavy machine gun, and he is waste firing it, Rambo style.
Oh, I should tell you. There's a guy I don't know if he's Australian or English. I can't tell from the accent. I think he's English. Mr. Hughes, Hewes, or something like that. He
Mm-hmm.
re- he rebuilds tanks for fun.
Is it Hughes? Hughes. Is it Hewes
I
on the
think
spelling
so.
by chance? Okay, he's British. I know exactly who you're talking about. You know, Whistling Diesel, the media guy that lives in Tennessee now.
Hmm.
That's who he got his tank from,
Oh
Mister
yeah.
Hughes.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
he's
that's
he's
Mister
got
Hughes.
like 6 right now, as
Oh
far
yeah,
as I
he's got
know.
he's got
The
all
British
sorts.
chieftain. Oh, and
Yeah,
He's been working on a Russian. What is it? T2.
maybe I think he has a T-34 up there too. Yeah, he lives out in just the middle of nowhere, England, and yeah, that's Mister Hughes. That's where Whistling Diesel got his tank from, and he shipped it to the U.S.
Hmm.
Yep, that's Mister
Um.
Hughes. Yep.
Yeah. When they were
Matter of fact,
working.
Mister Hughes is the guy who got what's that? World's Strongest Man. What's his name?
Nowadays, I wouldn't know.
It's on Facebook. What's his name? Hold on, I'll get it. Eddie Hall.
Oh, okay.
That guy. You know, he did you see the video where he drove around England and he said, if you ride on my tank, your Uber is free and I drive you wherever your Uber was taking you. Or you can hop in with my buddy, pay for the ride, and take the Uber. He was taking his armored personnel carrier around a little I forget what the name of it is, but he got that from Hughes. Eddie Hall, world's strongest man, the beast.
Well, Mr. Hughes was he and his crew were working on the Russian tank,
Yeah, I've been following him. Yeah.
and they had to change something deep inside of the tank and repair some Russian engineering. and, and I mean, seriously, they had to just about disassemble the entire thing to get to one teeny tiny part, like a starter.
hmm
And I commented back, "Who designed this damn thing? Fiat?"
hmm
And they
Oh,
laughed their asses off at that one.
oh, Eddie Hall almost got himself in trouble on a video last year. He decided to take this little tank of his and see if it would fit in a car park, aka a parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
The main entrance was actually on the second floor. They get it in there, and I mean, there is literally only half an inch of clearance from the topmost object on this tank. They get it in there. They get it halfway across you know how a parking deck is built. It's all
Yeah.
cubicle sections of columns and floors. He gets halfway across the first floor section of the first cube. The whole garage goes. Eddie froze. He just literally jumped on the brake of that tank. Like you heard the tracks grind the cement. And everybody's like, what the fuck was that? I don't know, guys, but I'm going in reverse. He backs the thing out. There's a crack in the floor now. It's like, let's just back out of here. And then he looks behind him. There's like 6 cars waiting to get in the car park. Now he's trying to back this tank APC out of the car park. Everybody's getting mad at him and shit. They're like, how are we going to hide this now? Eventually, though, they did do a ultrasound of the bridge. The crack was surface only, and he offered up the money to have them, take the crack out of it. Apparently, the funk they heard was the whole foundation shifting on the 13.5 tons of the weight of this APC. It moved the entire structure. When they described it to them, and then they saw that the crack was only in the surface, it did not penetrate the whole, the whole floor. They were like, "How much does this thing weigh?" He says it's 13.5. The guy went. It was an engineer. This was on one of his blogs. That's not on YouTube or Facebook. It's an actual blog that he wrote. He says the guy disappeared into the first floor and into a utility room that was a basement, actually. And apparently, there is a sensor down there that indicates if any kind of shifting has occurred on the foundation. And apparently, when he drove that tank in there, it shifted the building. The whole structure, as one big piece, went thunk. I was like, yo, you are so lucky.
And let that be a lesson to you, children. Never take an APC into a parking tower. Always park outside the convention.
Obey the weight limits of structures.
Yes.
They are there for a reason.
And believe me, the Finnical factor on those is very small.
The
Those
tolerance
numbers
alone. And as a building gets older, obviously that tolerance is going to get lower and lower and lower. Degradation of age.
All right, let's see here. I've got okay, that's got that ready. And Cap, good night. Thank you very much.
Good night to you, sir. Good night to viewers, and y'all have a wonderful night.
And good night, Mike Jimmy, although it's morning for you. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you later on in the week or next week or whenever the next opportunity presents itself. As long as there are no police cars outside the house, I'm fine.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Transmission overload. System will shut down. System will shut down.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.